Hello, hello! Welcome to Lifestyle with Chang. I'm going to be talking to you about RV share and outdoorsy. If it's worth it to rent out your RV in order to make a little bit of semi-passive income. So just a little background on myself. I love camping. I grew up in Alaska and we went camping every single year. And the best part about that is the fact that we can just take everything and go and start afresh. And it's not like you have to go somewhere and then learn how and then do other things and find like Disneyland or other events that you have to do. When you go camping, it's all of an activity and experience all in itself. And so that's the best portion. But I've never owned a travel trailer until last month. And so what I did was I took everything, we went to Indiana and we picked up a travel trailer because most of the travel trailers in America is built in Indiana, and because it's built there, it's a lot cheaper margins over there, but the problem is you would have to drive out there and get it. So we took about 2 days and we drove out there, picked it up, and took about 4 days to drive it back. And was it worth it? Yes. It was definitely worth it. I live in California, and everything in California for travel trailers that's decent and the model that we got, it takes about $30,000 to $40,000 for that specific model. I bought it over there for about $10,000 to $15,000 less than what I would have got here purchased in the state. Of course, we all know that California is more expensive for anything and everything that you possibly think of. Now, I'm going to be going over the pros and cons, if it's worth it for you or not, but the whole point is I just want you to enjoy yourself. Now, there are two platforms out there, the two major platforms. There's another one that I haven't received any success from. I just kind of scrapped it and gave up and just focused on these two. The first one is RV Share, and the second one is Outdoorsy. Both of them are peer-to-peer RV lending, where they have a travel trailer, a fifth wheel, or a motorhome and whatnot, Class C, B, or A. They take all those platforms. There are certain specs that they want to keep it within. I mean, they want about 15 years or newer. So when I bought my model, it was brand new. It was a 2021 KZ Sportsman. At the time of filming here, it was November, and I'm going to go over everything with you. If it's worth it, if it's worth it for you, if I'm making money off of it. I've been here exactly 1 month, and I'll go give you guys the numbers. But before I do that, let me go back to RV Share and Outdoorsy to see what the difference between them two are. Okay, number one, RV Share, they normally take about a 25% commission or a fee or whatever you want to call it. And then with the taxes and insurance on top of that, it feels like it's going to be a little more. But in reality, it's really not that big of a deal. And so in Outdoorsy, they run about 20 to 25%. And the more units you have with them, or the more items, the more business you give them and they take their share, they lower their percentage on there for you. I think the threshold is 25,000, or it could be even less if you can call them up and have be proactive in working with it. Both those platforms, they're free to list. And because they're free to list, you can just go put it on there. And then insurance on RV Share, I find that's a tiny bit more expensive than Outdoorsy. So if you have everything exactly the same for both marketing platforms, the client is going to pay a little more for RV Share than on Outdoorsy, just because of that extra insurance. But it's, I'm talking about just a couple dollars here or there. And so what I found success in was Outdoorsy. For some reason, when I clicked on it and started marketing, immediately we started getting responses back, and people wanted to rent out the travel trailer that I have. And then the RV Share, I'm really not too sure so far. I got one response. I got a couple of responses, but only one that came out and became pretty well. I did get one weird one to where it's my first response, and I was super ecstatic. And the guy wanted to rent it out for 2 months, which is the max I allow on my unit. It's only 60 days. And so I was excited. I thought it was going to be a lot of money. Turns out he was renovating a house nearby where I live. And because he was renting it out nearby, renovating his house nearby, he was wanting to rent my travel trailer and live in it while he renovates it. And he's talking about $400 a month. And that did not cover the insurance. Actually, I would be losing an extra $1,500 by renting it out to him in the course of those 2 months. So, of course, I said no. Yeah, it just happens that way. But How long does it take to receive your money? It takes about 1 to 2 business days for you to receive your money. Once they rent it out, normally they rent it out from Friday and then return on a Sunday. And by Tuesday, it should be in your bank account. Pretty simple, pretty easy. You don't really have to worry about it too much. Those platforms are very, very good, and it's safe and secure. And so what I found, I've been doing exactly 1 month to the day tomorrow, actually. And this is the success that I have. Before I go over the numbers, I'm going to go over what unit I have and markets and the competition that I have in my area. I have what's called a KZ Sportsman. It's a 301 bunkhouse SE. I picked it up for Indiana. It's 30 feet long. From tongue to tail, and it's 6,100 pounds dry. It's half-ton towable, so I drove out there with a 1996 Ford Expedition. And so a really, really old truck, and it was able to tow it no problem. And only biggest issue was in Cheyenne, or after Cheyenne, Wyoming, because of the wind issue, and there was a huge windstorm that came in, so we had to stay there an extra night for that. But anyways, my unit, it sleeps 10 people. I advertise 10 people. I technically only want 8 people in there because every time you bring it up and down the dining table, it ruins it, and it gets harder and harder. It gets more and more depreciable on that portion. And then it also has an outdoor kitchen. I didn't put it on our marketing portion because our competition is, we're better than the competition on there. But yeah, it has an outdoor kitchen with a griddle and a small refrigerator, so it makes it pretty nice. It comes with all the essentials. I did not know at one time, but apparently you have to buy stuff and put it inside of there. So it has all the essentials. I mean, we went out and bought pots and pans and got plates and cups and cleaning supplies and trash cans, things like that, to where I didn't really think about. But after we rented out to the first person, because it was literally overnight. They asked me on midnight, and by 7 o'clock the next morning, I responded back to them because their RV broke and they were supposed to go on this trip for the Halloween weekend. And so we made everything happen within just a couple hours. And when I was able to deliver it, charge an extra fee, and which turned out fantastic. But I mean, they wrote a list of everything. They were just super appreciative. They gave me a 5-star, but they were just super appreciative that I was able to do such last minute in order to help them out in their time of need. And so, which was nice, but they also charged them a whole bunch, like the delivery fee, which I charged $200 for, and then also the septic and black and gray water fee for that one too. What I do is, my area, they charge me $140 to $160 a night for a travel trailer that brand new. Literally, mine was brand new. I did not get to use it before the first person got to use it. And so once they got to use it, they wrote a list of everything that I needed in there. And then we took it out ourselves the following weekend to make sure that we did have everything, like the TV and just small knickknacks here or there that makes it more homey and more comforty. And so what we charge is, we charge $119 a night. RV Share wants me to charge $140. I think that just to get some more reviews on there, I'm going to lowball the market. And this is the off season. Keep in mind that most people travel for camping with their families during the summer times. I purchased this at the end of the year, which normally gets the best time for the travel trailers and RVs. However, we have this crazy thing called COVID. And so because of COVID, a bunch of people can't travel normally now. And so now they're switching everything over to more travel trailers and RVs and camping and building memories that way, which personally myself, I think it's a much better way to travel, especially because you get to build better memories. People remember Disneyland and people remember big vacations, but guess what? They also remember the smaller type of things like taking a travel trailer out. Now, in order to rent my unit, you need to do a minimum of 2 nights. I used to have it to where it has a mandatory $1,500 deposit, but now I lowered it down to $500 and do a moderate cancellation policy on there, and it goes over the details. You can take a look at my specific unit if you want to. I have a click in a link below to where you can come look at it. And then also, like I said, I charge a $200 delivery fee for up to 30 miles. The first thing I had on there was up to 50 miles, and realized that my truck only gets boy, 4.6 miles a gallon while hauling that thing. So it was not worth it to go up to 50 miles. So we brought it down to 30 miles. And then also, with the sewage fee, the cleaning fee, if they don't wash it inside and out, there's also fees involved with that one, and also smoking fee. And so in reality, when it's out and being rented, it's not making me very much money at all. What makes me money is the sewage, cleaning, and then any smoking fees or pet fees. I love animals and whatnot, but they are an extra, how do you say, issue when it comes to wear and tear on the vehicles. I mean, we own rental property and we have an extra deposit because our renters wanted an animal. And because of that, we understand that they do wear and tear, they chew up the carpet, they might do a couple things. And I'm not saying all animals like that, but overall, if you continue to charge a small fee, which is $50 per rental, not a night for just a full rental, and then because eventually things would need to start being replaced, and that extra $50 does help quite a bit. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, Chang, stop talking. I did say this is lifestyle Chang, so I live a pretty fast-paced life. Now, before I became self-employed doing tree work and also doing an RV, what I used to be was a financial advisor and insurance salesman for the last 10 years. And now, let's break down the numbers. With RV Share, I was able to rent it out one time to one member for 5 nights. And it came out to be $502.50 was the net profits after to pay for the fees. They got charged $800 something, but I got $500. Now keep in mind that you don't get the percentages for insurance. The $502 was specifically for that unit to be out for those 5 days. RV Share took their portion, which was a little less than $100. But with the taxes and then the fees and whatnot, they rented out for $800 for 5 nights, and I got $502.50 for RV Share. Outdoorsy, I was able to rent it out for two times. So one person, both of them rented out for just 2 nights. And so that came out to be $660.80 for the both of them. Now keep in mind, and even though those are only 4 nights, I got paid more on that because, remember how I told you about getting more money off of those fees? That one person, the first person who wanted to rent my unit, didn't have a vehicle to tow it. And then also they didn't have a way, they didn't want to deal with the cleaning fee and whatnot. So that's the reason why those are extra fees. But anyways, is it worth it? Is it worth renting your RV? It really all depends on you. For me, it's a definite yes. It is a definite yes. Gives me some extra things to do. If you're a single mom and you have some either a large driveway or have some space on your property and don't have to worry about renting out a storage unit and whatnot, it's definitely going to be worth it, because as long as you get one unit rented a month, guess what's going to happen? You get a free payment. That's what it normally comes down to. It's just pretty amazing, pretty simple, pretty easy. I live about 40 miles away from Lake Tahoe, and it's a really good place. I made it just out of that free delivery mark because I don't want to drive up there. It's a pretty large ascension. I think it's almost 5,000 feet in elevation, and then we come back down. So I didn't want to deal with all of that. But if they wanted me to deliver it, I can put in there and negotiate and show them exactly where it is. So for me, it is definitely worth it. And we made $1,100, a little shy of $1,100 in the first month alone. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to be taking, especially for the upcoming season. And now, if you're interested in renting my RV, whether you're from the Bay Area or Sacramento or Stockton or wherever it is, just let me know. Click on the item description below for RV Share or Outdoorsy, and I can give you a specific coupon code to where it could save you $50 on your first rental. But let me know what you guys think of this thing. But like I said, you have to be good with renting out your RV. You can't nitpick everything. It's a rental. It's not your, like you live in your house, you take a lot of pride in it, but if you take that house and rent it out, the renters would not take pride in your house like you would. Same thing, exactly the same thing with the RV. I love camping. And whenever I go camping, normally I just use a tent. Now we have the luxury of getting a free travel trailer, essentially, because we like to go probably once every 3 or 4 months, but being able to rent it out the rest of the time pays for that payment for me, and I get to stay in for free practically whenever I go camping. So just a couple thoughts that I want to bring out to you. A couple videos I'm going to make is going through the whole list of what I have for my RV, from the nose to the tail and all the knickknacks that I bought for it, and then just a walkthrough for you as a potential renter, or for you to see which one you want to be able to monetize. One thing I do know is that in the spring, I will be picking up another one, because it's not necessarily all that lucrative. It's the fact that the more you can scale, I can pay off my RV hopefully by the next season. And then since I got such a good deal, when I'm ready to sell it, I'm going to be able to have sell it for what I bought it for, because I did all the delivery fee myself from Indiana out here, and be able to sell it for practically what I sold for it. And all that money that I got from it was just gravy. So I hope you guys like it. Follow me for more, guys. Click that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to comment, guys, especially if you're interested in going camping or possibly renting out my travel trailer. Thank you. We'll see you the next time.